Hi, Pisces. Seven of Pentacles to start off. This reading is for anyone who identifies as or is very interested in a Pisces at this time. This is success, Pisces. What I imagine a lot of you are experiencing now, have been experiencing, will be experiencing throughout Taurus season 2019. I believe here in the next no more than a week, I will do a May 2019 reading for you as well, Pisces. But for now, this is your Taurus season 2019 reading. I'm sorry I could not get to a reading for you any sooner in April, but it looks like success is the energy that is paramount coming into this reading. So what you have been experiencing, likely. But success means that there is still some work left to do, which is why I said it like that. This is success, Pisces. It may not feel like it, look like it. It may look like a lot of being patient, maybe even being a little bit frustrated, waiting still. But this is at present completion. An energy of completion, an energy of being your own boss, being one's own manager, being the authority in one's own life. This is, an energy of completion and fatherhood. So for some of you, the success that you're experiencing and or the waiting period associated with it, and or obviously this completion, major completion, graduation of sorts even, may have to do with a father figure in your life. Your father, the father of your children, a father figure. Or becoming a father for a few of you, sure. But I see in the near future that the waiting continues. It's sort of self-imposed, I think, at this point, though, from, moving forward. At any point after this, Pisces, from here on, I really feel like from the time the message finds you on, self-imposed waiting, I say, I think, because in this instance, because, here you are in the near future looking back, still waiting to see if someone is going to help you moving forward or hinder you moving forward. Maybe someone in particular specifically who has hindered you moving forward in the past, Pisces, or hindered your movement forward in the past. There is a lot of work left to be done, but it doesn't have anything to do with anyone else. And I think for most of you, you're sort of kidding yourself to let yourself believe that it really has anything to do with anyone else. if what is making you cautious moving forward is if what is causing you to look back over your shoulder and see, even as you're graduating and completing and able to manifest anything you want with this power, this command, you're still looking back. Looking back. If the cause for you looking back, if the damage someone has done that's making you look back was in the recent past, those events, consequences, unfortunate events, even for some of you, I'm sure, were fated, were karmic, likely, had very much to do with keeping you on or just being part of the path that you have chosen, or are, have been choosing, are currently choosing. Pisces and Taurus season 2019. This is success, and it's certainly a success that deserves to be celebrated. It just has been feeling like a lot of waiting. It continues to feel like waiting, but like I said, that's self-imposed. That's you thinking that someone else may hinder your movement forward, or someone who already has may, or that you thinking that you may need help. You may get that sense, specifically for some of you Pisces, because this success truly all originated in a gift from the divine, the whatever is divine to you, a divine partnership and connection in your life, maybe divine inspiration, communication with, you fill in the blank, right? With something divine to you, with an energy beyond the veil that you feel connected to somehow, if nothing else, just inexplicable genius, inexplicable creative inspiration that many would label divine inspiration, right? So with that being, with the success that you should be celebrating, and the the completion and accomplishment that's really lifting you up to new levels of manipulating your own bubble, your own corner of the multiverse. You're controlling what experiences you have directly, right? I don't mean controlling and manipulating anybody else's space, which is why I phrased it like that, but certainly controlling to a greater extent than you have before your own experience in space. What's brought you to that place, and then the new perspective and understanding that comes from being in this new experience. What's brought you to that place is, yes, is fate and the divine, Pisces. I think you feel that. If you don't consciously know it, you feel it. Divine inspiration, and then fate giving you the opportunity to use that idea, that creative energy, that passionate energy, right? That to share maybe a creation that you birthed into physical reality from just an idea, from just a thought, from just a burst of creative inspiration. But both the inspiration, the energy in origin, and then the opportunity to share or to grow that thing, and or to grow that thing, both were seemed to be granted, given to you like a gift from the divine. some of you Pisces, in this space where you're currently able to manifest anything you want, some of you, what you're wanting, what you have been wanting, and are manifesting again, whether consciously or incidentally, is a divine masculine energy in your life. Certainly for a lot of you, that means as a romantic partner. But the inspiration, the creative idea, the energy, to create, to pursue a passion tirelessly, yes, yes, you're correct in feeling like so much of what's happening now has been given to you like a gift, as we were just talking about. But that, that energy is given to you, yes, to us all, often, sometimes, yes, and and the opportunities to share our ideas, our creations, our inspirations, to grow them, maybe publicly, maybe with other kindred spirits, like-minded individuals. Maybe the opportunities to grow them through and by seeing them as, part of our own personal spiritual journey, seeing them in that light. Yes, those things are given, but then at a certain point, that's the divine has to then put it in our hands, right, Pisces? Those things, the inspiration, the opportunities, are often fated and given like gifts, granted like gifts. But we do, with our free will, have choices to make at certain points, have actions to take, forks in the road, where we interact with the drama, play the game, and move forward through both the that free will and the action, consequential action. We were talking about, the success, the waiting period, as if it was that got you here, through the first part of Taurus season. I know we're already 10 days into Taurus season 2019 now, Pisces. So through the first part of Taurus season, even April 2019 in general, we were talking about it like it was just frustrating, and I was picturing it feeling like you were dragging your feet, wanting to do more, but it was actually, for some of you, actually a chaotic time period I'm seeing now. Right? Where the rewards for what you were working on, the recognition, the rewards, the leisurely activities and time periods that should come with success traditionally in our minds, where that seemed to be put off, but yet there was much to do still. Because I see you now. I see that this Taurus season 2019 now is also in general about you moving away from stressful, chaotic, hectic spaces, mentally, emotionally, maybe physically, to calmer states of mind, calmer energies, environments. And there's someone here too, hopefully behind you instead of in front of you, Pisces, but there's someone here too with a smug energy. And I would imagine that someone who, you know, you're leaving behind with that stress and chaos, who feels smug about how things ended, but you don't have to interact with that energy, even if it's someone that you're moving toward who's going to be in the environment that you're part of, because it may be like another test. Do you need to learn this lesson again? Are you going to interact with this type of energy again? Or have you learned your lesson, and are you going to bite your tongue? And I really, really think that you should bite your tongue if it's someone smug that reminds you of someone that you were just around, or a type that you always end up around, or a type that this world is littered with, you know, who makes us need to bite our tongues. I really think you should bite your tongue, Pisces. And again, it doesn't matter if you're moving away from or toward that smug energy. It's just a smug energy. You don't have to interact with it. It's someone who's not going to be honest with you. They may not even be honest with themselves. You can see that truth or some truth about them. And it's hard to know it and bite your tongue and not just tell them what you know about them. Again, whether it's somebody you're leaving behind or someone who you're moving toward, or both. But they let you down. And part of having a new beginning is it's the internal set and setting. It's your mental and emotional set and setting within you. And you can't really have a new beginning if you're taking this tendency to interact with that type of person, that type of really just annoyance to you, Pisces, over and over and over again, because it's going to be there to engage with. We just choose not to, right? We choose not to play that game. This is getting a little bit longer than I meant for it to, Pisces. But let's see. Let's see. Your advice for Taurus season 2019. The King of Wands and the Two of Swords. Some of you feel like you have to leave a divine masculine energy, significant divine masculine figure in your life behind in order to mentally, emotionally move to calmer states, ways, habits, patterns, days in general. Especially if it's a fire sign, Aries or Leos or Sagittarius, and especially if that's someone who you're waiting around on to see if they're going to help you with this completion. This major accomplishment, graduation, achievement, leveling up in some way in your life that likely leaves you trying to swim around and navigate a space that you haven't, known before. But especially if that's someone, especially if it's a fire sign, and especially if that's someone who you'd like to help you navigate that space, I would say if you have to move away from that person in order to get to calmer emotional and mental states of mind, ways of being, then of course eventually, you're going to come full circle around to, at some point, to knowing that that's, That's what you have to do. Can't let anything stop you from being your healthiest version, ultimately, right, Pisces? We can't. But, you know, if you finding that you just have no choice then eventually at any point to move away from this person, and it may be because someone is being dishonest, sneaking around, Pisces. Making an offer to you that you're leery of for good reasons. That just isn't for you. Maybe. So many sevens. But for whatever reason, if you have to move away from this person, Pisces, you know, keep in mind that part of the reason that you are wanting to be around them in their energy bubble, part of their space, connecting with them so much is because there's something about their energy that you not only admire, but that you hope to learn to embody yourself, that you want to rub off on you, that you want to make sure you are exuding and utilizing yourself. So name those things, write them down, or just speak them, or just think about them. More than once, I'd say, is particularly helpful. But name those things. You know, hold yourself accountable for what those qualities are that are so attractive. Maybe things that you, phone calls, that you know you could never be. You know, and I beg to differ, but that may be the way that you caption it in your mind. Oh, I'll never be punctual like that, or whatever. For me, it'll be like hard workers that I've been with. Well, I guess that's not fair. More structured workers with but I guess I say hard workers too, because it'll be people that I've been with who or spent a lot of time with, just spent a lot of time with even, who were really structured workers, started when they said they were going to start. But I'll even say I'll say hard workers too, because they will work through and past a break, like a designated break time where I'd be like, no, I got done what I said I would do, or I did this for as long as I said I would do it. Now it's time for this cookies and milk break right now. I promised myself. And I'll say hard workers were really, it's like work addicts is really more what they are. But it will be something that I'll admire and miss and still strive to embody sometimes, because those people, I mean, it's not healthy, I'm not advising it, but those people will get shit done quickly, a lot of it. It's not a good idea. It's not like I'm envious of that, but you know, there's a reason. The point is, there's a reason why you're still craving these certain qualities that you're attracted to in this person to begin with. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a romantic partner, but it's an easy example and way to frame it. This is so much longer than I thought it would be, Pisces. So the final outcome of the situation, and I drew a clarifier on this, is the Seven of Swords. Like I said, someone could be somebody sneaking around. Maybe it is this Emperor. Maybe it's a fire sign. Maybe not. Maybe just a divine masculine in general. But if it is, especially in Aries, especially a fire sign, you know, is it how bold and fearless and charismatic and social and charming and, you know, intense and passionate, inviting, warm they are. how enticing, exciting, enthusiastic, and almost familial to more people than is natural. Is it their, connection to nature sometimes with the Fire King in general? Or specifically, people. As I said, very, the way they're very social and charming. What is it? Is it any of those qualities specifically, or what is it? But either way, whether this Emperor card and this King of Wands, whether these cards are also talking about a divine masculine outside of yourself around you or not, I still feel like either way they're carrying this energy of wanting the querent, whomever, in this reading to be very much in charge of their own space, commanding, I think, this inspiration. Commanding this inspiration. This is your advice, the King of Wands. And there's the Ace of Wands in the root of the situation. As we said, likely a gift, this burst of creative inspiration, this burst of passionate energy from the divine. I really think with both the Emperor and the King of Wands here, I think either way, you're definitely advised to command that energy. Let it be more than just that burst of inspiration, that burst of passionate energy. Command with it. It's more than just a passing thought or idea. Own this idea. Be the boss, be the owner. Make sure you're in charge of what it turns into. Specifically, there's decision one needs made. Some decision immediately needs made. Is it about, like we've been talking about, moving forward and not waiting on someone else to help you, or waiting to see if someone else is going to hurt you again? Like I said, I think anything that's happened in the recent past was fated, was part of the being on this path, maybe keeping you on this path. And in the outcome, it may just be fated if, for someone to be sneaking around, as we see this here at the end of Taurus season 2019, so past mid-May, right? It may just be fated for someone to deceive you in some way. It's like there's a decision that needs to be made. Trust your gut, your instinct, your intuition. If someone's making an offer to you and you're not interested in that offer, maybe this new person that's also smug, like someone from your past that you're moving toward, that we were just talking about, because you are having trouble moving on. So maybe you're moving back toward this smug energy, or on towards someone who's just way too much like them. Because see, you have many suitors. You have many suitors. Pisces. May even be people for some of you that you're collaborating with in work. But there is this stuck energy, being, having trouble emotionally moving on, even though mentally and maybe physically you are moving away from chaotic, stressful people and energy, which, could leave you regretting leaving somebody behind, or again, heading back toward them, or just heading toward the same type of energy and a similar mistake, I hate to say, because it feels like with the Two of Swords being your advice card, and then being also the clarifier on the outcome card, the Seven of Swords. And with where these swords are pointing to me, always being so significant with it in the Two of Swords cards, I just feel like you can move forward away from that type of energy, see these deceptive, manipulative, sneaky energies for who they are, where they are, see what they want for what it is, or allow karma to repeat itself. Allow, the fate that, if that's been your fate in the, in the past, even the beginning of 2019 in general, but likely for a lot of you it's even more recent than that, then, you can repeat this karma, you can repeat this cycle, you can repeat this again. Especially Pisces, by allowing yourself to accept an offer, to be persuaded into accepting some type of emotional, kind offer that doesn't really feel right to you for some reason, that you don't really want. And I think that's step one and decision one in being the commanding, authoritative leader and boss and owner in your own life, in your own space. That may also be very applicable to your work, to some particular relationship, etc. But just in general in your own life, I think that may be step one, decision one, is making sure that you don't let something slide by like that. If there's some part of you that feels like, I don't really want to be with this person, or I don't really want to commit to this book club, or I don't really want to be that good of friends with that so-and-so after I saw them such and such the other day and heard that they said whatever about whoever, like, don't let these little things slide. Like, be the commanding leader, set the example in your own life, be the person who stands up and says, no, I'm not spending my time with that energy, that activity. I don't like that person. I don't stand for those things. That's not something I want to engage with. I'm certainly not gonna be with someone romantically who doesn't do it for me in every way just because I don't want to hurt their feelings, or let them down, or because it might be a good idea. We'll see how she's looking at that cup, like, I'm really just not interested in Peter Baelish, but there may be reasons why strategically it's a good idea for these characters, for this character in this card. But again, the details will be different for everybody, like they always are in a general reading. But that's certainly specifically, if that specifically applied, that certainly is not a good reason to engage in a type of any sort of close interpersonal entanglement, let alone a romantic one with anyone. But yeah, I just feel like karma kind of wants to repeat itself. Don't let that happen, Pisces, if it's, the negative cycle that for some of you it feels like it's going to be. Especially, if you've got these suitors that we see here, new and old, one or two or more, take that energy that they're offering you. That's like an offering of a surge of sexual, creative, powerful energy from the divine through those individuals who are offering it to you, literally, physically, right? You don't have to return that offer. You can just take that energy and allow, empower forward in your creative, even entrepreneurial, for some of you, in investments and endeavors and pursuits and creations, your spiritual, creative babies and projects, passion projects of all kinds. Hopefully for a lot of you, all those things blend together into certain activities. And I think that's a certain sure way to break the cycle. You can make the decision to fixate on what you can't move on from, or you can look at the things productively, constructively, like we talked about, that are attractive still about someone that you miss or that you crave, and ask, how can I embody those things and move forward? There's a championing here of the head over the heart. Focus on the fact that mentally, logically, strategically, you know that the truth for you, health and growth and evolution, wellness for you lies on the other side of moving through time and space away from that which has you feeling stuck, whereas your heart and your emotional body would have you just, continue to drain memories and drain yourself, right? If you're using that to create, that's one thing. But if you're not, then you're not. And you can choose between those two paths, right? I'm not saying you have to entirely choose mental over emotional, but there's the indication here that championing your mind as you move through this space, over your emotions, and as you move into this space, as like we talked about, trying to navigate this new space of being this masculine authority in some arena of your life that you haven't been before, or your life in general if you haven't been in some way before. That can be helpful to get you started, or just to help with this time period in particular. It may very well have something to do with the fact that Saturn is now retrograde in Capricorn, I believe. The moon is in your sign today, Pisces. Mercury's in Aries still. Venus is in Aries still. That may be a lot of the energy that you're interacting with. So if there is someone on your mind or outside of yourself, but it's not an Aries, Sag or Leo, it's just Mercury and Venus in particular are both in Aries right now still, so that could be why it's showing up with this Aries energy here. Mars is in Gemini still, Jupiter is in Sag still, Saturn is in Capricorn, like we just said, retrograde today, I believe. I thought anyway. Uranus, of course, in Taurus. Neptune is in Pisces still. Pluto is also in Capricorn, right? I knew that. True Node is still in Cancer still. Okay, and Chiron is in Aries. All right. I've already almost kept you 40 minutes. May as well. And I mean, I can't help but see it, Pisces, this person, if there is someone, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic attachment, but if there is someone that you need to move away from mentally, emotionally, physically, all the above, any of those, if there is someone that's making an offer to you that you're not keen on, that you don't want, or there is someone who you need to move away from that you're having trouble feeling stuck on a little bit, this seems to be the thief. This can just be somebody stealing away. This can be you stealing away and spending some time with yourself. You've had this great accomplishment, this great achievement, this great leveling up, graduation. This big, very big, major win in some way, and you're commanding and leading and maybe starting your own business for some of you, or something like this. But you're in charge, and some of you might just be stealing away to ask yourself. And how do I deal with this? What's my next move? What energy do I bring forward here? How do I be this leader now, this new version of myself, this new leader version of myself? that can be all the Seven of Swords is. Doesn't necessarily have to be someone sneaking around, but I feel like if there is someone making this offer to you that your intuition is telling you maybe turn that down, and or someone, again, that you feel like you're stuck on a little bit. I feel this deceptive, sneaky, not straightforward, at the very least, not entirely straightforward energy coming from them. So, if there's, and especially if it's someone that you feel like you have to make a choice about. Do I continue to wait for this person? Do I go ahead without them? Are they really who I thought they were? Are they really this to me? Or should I just go ahead and see if I can move on? Do I take this offer from them or not? Right? I think this is someone who's not owning up to who they are or what they want, what their motivations are 100%. Certainly not what they may take from you 100%, Pisces. But this is twice as long at least as I thought it would be, but it looks amazing. You know, you want to sense that person. You want to see that person for what they are and own this choice. You don't have to accept this offer. You don't have to stay stuck emotionally. You definitely don't have to move towards someone who's much like someone you just moved away from, accept an offer that's much like one you just walked away from, right? You want to see that. But other than that coming by the end of Taurus season 2019, and that's why we do this, to see these things. But other than that coming, it looks beautiful, this completion, this accomplishment, this ownership. Like I said, there's just this sense of still waiting in the near future, and you don't have to. That's in your hands. I hope you make very wise choices for yourselves moving forward, Pisces. Definitely don't feel determined or boxed in by any of this. If you need a private reading, just scroll down to the description below. Check out your options and all of the links there. You can email me at LunarticksTarot@gmail.com. We can talk about, what kind of reading you want, since they're just laid out based on the length of the readings, really. Or you can just order directly, and you don't have to say anything to me about astrology or specifics or topics, anything like that at all. Either way. But thank you, all of you, for all of your support to Lunartics Tarot. And I love you, Pisces, and I will post another reading for you very soon.